championship record holder as well as the collegiate record holder. Ran that race in 2018 just after a rainstorm, which is a good time to run fast times. And in semifinal number 1, we're featuring the Texas junior from Barbados, Jonathan Jones.
Yes, he's the Big 12 champion in the 400, as you said, from Barbados. And he's an applied movement science major. And he's showcasing that major to perfection on the track as he moves closer and closer to try to win NCAA gold.
There are the lane assignments, and like all of the lane races, it's the first 2 finishers across the line automatically qualifying to Friday's final, then the 3 next fastest times over the 3 semifinals.
Also in the heat, 2 members of that outstanding 4x400 meter relay team from Florida, number 1 in the country, not just number 1 in the country, but number 1 in the world, Ryan Willie and Ja'Cory Patterson. Patterson clear on the outside.
So Johnson of Ohio State in 5, Jones of Texas in lane 7. And Johnson moving nicely in the middle. This is Ryan Willie and Jonathan Jones, 5, 6, and 7, moving well, as is Johnny Blockberger, also in this first semifinal heat. He anchored the victorious USC Trojans in the 4x100 meter relay earlier. And now Jones starts to separate down the finishing stretch. It's Jones followed closely by Willie. That's 1-2 right now. Johnson trying to make it happen, but he can't do it. So it's going to be Jones and Willie automatically through in this first semifinal heat of the 400. Jones just under 45 seconds at 44.97. And then Ryan Willie 45.47 in second.
Dwight, every coach I've ever had says the 400 is a race that'll put some hair on your chest. And when it came to this last stretch, Jonathan Jones' legs were working and Johnny Blockberger's legs turned into Lockbergers. But what you want to do in this last stretch is just go to your arms, and keep getting that turnover as you get closer and closer to the finish line. Jonathan Jones ran a perfect semifinal 400 meter right there.
Well, he felt a little bit of the pressure coming from the inside, but that was measured really nicely. The question is, can he challenge Randolph Ross? We'll see Randolph Ross in the next heat. Randolph Ross looks unbeatable, but if anybody can do it, it could be this man right here.
So official results confirming Jonathan Jones is the winner in 44.97, home for all 90 NCAA championships. So we are now ready for the second semifinal heat. And this heat features Olympian Randolph Ross of North Carolina A&T. He will be starting out, and he's behind his blocks in lane number 7.
Oh yeah, Dwight, he is the reigning champion who laid the smackdown on the field last year, running 43.85 in the final. And this year he also ran 44.62 indoors, just missing Michael Norman's indoor world record of 44.52. And of course we know that he is the son of Dwayne Ross, who is the coach at North Carolina A&T, but the new coach at the University of Tennessee.
Well, we're getting bonus track and field from this young man. He could have turned pro last year. We're going to look at champion Allison there from Florida out in lane 8. He's been the anchor for this Florida 4x400 meter team, SEC indoor, SEC outdoor champ. He'll be somebody to contend with. We bounce back to Randolph Ross just momentarily. He could have gone pro.
Yeah.
He makes the Olympic team, but he came back to school. He said there were too many reasons for me to come back than not to come back, and so we're getting bonus track and field from one of the best quarter milers, not just in college, but in the country.
Yeah, Dan, we love bonus track and field, right? And champion Allison, I mean, he's first team All-American on the name team, right? This guy, he can not only run and anchor those 4x4s, but he's got a beautiful name as well.
No pressure when you name your kid champion, right? Lane assignments, there they are, from lane 2 out to lane 9. All of these races have 8 competitors in them. It really is unusual and really a bonus, as you said, when we get an Olympian, a medalist, to come back and run more collegiate track and field. And we really do appreciate that Randolph Ross stuck around. I have a feeling his coach, father, had a little something to do with that. So Ross will be just behind champion Allison out in lane 7 and 8. That's good for Ross. You want to try and conserve as much energy as you possibly can, yet still run a good solid time and finish in the top 2 to automatically advance. Race on the outside, lane 7 and 8, Randolph Ross, champion Allison.
All Randolph Ross goes out really, really well, and he's got the great pacer right there in front of the champion Allison. These two guys are the two to look for at the finish in this race.
You can see the separation there from the rest of the pack from these two outstanding runners. Allison, the anchor on that Florida collegiate record in the 4x400 earlier this year. And Ross looking just as smooth as can be. He realizes, hey, we're 1 and 2. It doesn't really matter the way it goes after that. Allison continuing to lead in lane 8. Randolph Ross right there in lane 7. Allison will win the semifinal heat. Ross second. And in third, distantly, Javon Powell of UTEP, 44-29, looking like he's just walking down the street. Champion Allison, a lifetime best by nearly a half of a second in this semifinal. Randolph Ross, an easy 44-43.
Well, Dwight, the only thing you hope is that champion Allison didn't leave it all on the track in the semifinal, because this could be a repeat of the final. But you see, as they come here to the last 100, everybody who's ever run a 400 knows how it feels when you get to that point, and these two guys just powered through better than the rest of the field. Now right here, I'm wondering if Randolph Ross is trying to decide to himself, should I push it and try to win this race or save it for the final? We'll see what he has when it comes around in a couple days.
Well, and then you were looking at a guy there in the Florida uniform. He is just in a groove. He's in a rhythm. He could slow down. He could slow down and take the last 50 meters a little bit easy, but when you're in a groove like that, why not stay in it? He stayed in it, ran all the way to the line, and got a personal best, a big personal best, and he showed the #1 400-meter run in the world. It's like, I'm not going to be easy to beat in the finals, brother.
Hey, you're going to have to beat me on the track, and nobody cares about the numbers that you brought. You got to do it on that day.
Lifetime best in the semifinal, number 6 time in the world this year. Champion Allison winning the heat over Randolph Ross, and champion Allison downstairs with John.
Dwight, actually, we've been moved about here because of the next heat, but we are over here. And actually, I grabbed Randolph Ross since, well, it looked easy enough. I know there's a difference between it being easy and looking easy. How did it feel to you?
It was a smooth race, you know. We just want to focus on staying up on the backstretch and getting ready to go into the second turn. But it's also not good to leave it all in the prelim. So it was a good time. You know, I got another 4x4 to run, so you got to be ready on Friday.
I watched you in Birmingham after the last lap of the 4x4, and you were a man that looked cooked. How hard has it been to get back in shape after that long indoor season and be ready for this meet?
It's most definitely been a different training regimen, and of course supplements and protein and eating and everything. But at the same time, I came back for a reason. So at this point, you got to do what you got to do to win.
Hey, your dad got a new job. What do you think of that?
Yeah, technically, I got a year and a half left. So we gonna play it by ear, day by day. You know, we are running fast enough to leave, so we'll see what happens at the end of this year.
Very good. We'll see you on Friday.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Randolph Ross, right?
All right,
Dwight?
John, that was a bonus interview with the great Randolph Ross. I wonder if we might be seeing him in a Tennessee Volunteer singlet next year.
Ooh.
How about that? Okay, third semifinal in this 400 meters. This one featuring Elijah Godwin of Georgia, the junior who won an Olympic medal, a bronze medal, as part of the mixed relay in Tokyo. Came back, had a terrible indoor season, looked terribly out of shape. As we look at the other Dwight in the arena, Dwight St. Hilaire from Kentucky, the senior from Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, Dwight St. Hilaire is the guy that everybody's been waiting on since about 2018 to come through and really put down a dominant time. As we see here, his personal best is 44.55, but this year he's only run 45.41. So he seems to have all the tools. It's just a matter of him peaking at the right time, and what better time to do it than an NCAA championship.
Well, he saved all of his best races for late in the season last year. Well, hopefully we'll get it, but this is Dwight St. Hilaire's final NCAA championships. We've seen him, and he's been with us for a really long time. He's made some international teams, so he has that great international experience. He'll make a nice transition just to the pro level. And there's, you see, Elijah Godwin. He had a dream season last year as well, was in the finals of every major NCAA indoors, NCAA outdoors, the Olympic trials. He makes that Olympic team, but believe it or not, he's a different runner this season. Coach Carroll at Georgia is finally getting him to relax.
See if he can utilize that teaching in this last 100, because that's where it usually hits him the worst.
Bubble time is 45:58. If you don't finish in the top two, you better run faster than that if you want to run on Friday.
Woo!
And Godwin is out crazy fast like we've seen him do so many times. Can he hold it? Dwight St. Hilaire keeping his powder dry down there in lane number 4. But Godwin setting the pace out in lane number 7 all by himself.
Yeah, right now Godwin does look relaxed, but it's going to come down to how relaxed he can stay in that last 100 meters, which is usually where he starts to lock up.
The man with negative knee drive in the final 100 normally. Here comes Dwight St. Hilaire. Kept his powder dry, but right inside of him he's getting some pressure from Richard Kuykendall of Oklahoma, who's going to lean him out for that second automatic qualifier. Godwin wins the semi, followed by Richard Kuykendall, the sophomore from Oklahoma, then Dwight St. Hilaire, who just ran out of real estate and ended up third in 45:65, which is not fast enough to advance for the senior from Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, the time might not be the best, but it's a semifinal. But Elijah Godwin did show that he could relax a little bit down that last 100. But how about Richard Kuykendall from Oklahoma, Big 12 outdoor 400-meter runner-up. He comes out here in his NCAA championship debut, and he shocks the rest of the field and makes it into the final. But right there, Elijah Godwin, he does look a little more relaxed. But we're going to need him to drop at least a second on that time to be able to compete with the top dogs in the final.
So the official results have Elijah Godwin of Georgia winning the semifinal at 45:47, followed by Richard Kuykendall, a little bit of an upset there at 45:59. Dwight St. Hilaire missing, advancing to the final by 8/100ths of a second. That ends his spectacular NCAA career at Kentucky. And here are your advancers to finals. And on paper, it looks like it's going to be a great head-to-head between champion Allison and the defending champion Randolph Ross. All right, when we come back, we go twice around the oval. More rounding.